He guessed she entrusted the calf-length coat to keep her warm. She slipped on her platform heels, and he double-checked out the window to ensure his walkway was free of snow and ice.
"It was a great party."
"I aim to please," he drawled, crooked smirk in place as he helped her into her coat. "Happy New Year." It was January 1st, a brand new start to another year. And with his contract expiring with the Minnesota Glaciers at the end of the season, a critical one for his pro career. She paused at his side, the frigid air blasting through the open doorway to chill him instantly. His thermal shirt was a useless barrier against the winter freeze. She ran her red nails down his bicep.
"Let me know when you have another party."
She pressed a piece of paper into his palm, then rose up to brush a kiss to his cheek.
"Good luck at the game tomorrow."
"Thanks, sweetheart. Drive safe." He straightened his hat and watched her teeter down his drive. There was one precarious slip that had him shoving away from the door jamb, but she got her footing and somehow made it to her car without falling. The sky was gray and heavy with clouds that warned of snow better than any weatherman. His granddad had taught Dylan to read the sky around the same time he taught him to ride a horse. A deep inhale froze the lining of his nostrils and brought the dank weight of the pending moisture through the dry air. He sent a final salute in the direction of the car as it pulled away from the curb, identified the remaining vehicles in his driveway, then finally shut the door on the insufferable cold. A harsh shiver tightened his nipples into stony pebbles. What the hell? He'd spent half of his 24 years living in the northern climates, far away from the baking Texas heat where he'd been born. He should be more than used to the weather by now. It didn't mean he had to like it. If he had any luck at all, he'd be traded to a southern team and get the hell out of the devil's perverse version of a frozen hell. His derisive snort echoed off the high ceiling. That red-horned bastard had been laughing at Dylan since he'd been granted his wish at the age of 12 and left Texas to train in Massachusetts. And he'd thought he'd hated the heat. "Is she gone?" He jerked around up to see Justin Feeney peeking around the corner to peer into the great room. Dylan crossed his arms over his chest and gave an exaggerated look toward the front door. "Depends on which she you're talking about," he answered, dropping his southern drawl. There'd been 3 she's since he'd taken up his station at the bar over an hour ago. Feeney scrubbed his face and took a tentative step into the room, gaze swinging over the area in a scattered search for the puck bunny he was trying to dodge. "About this tall," he held his hand to mid-chest. "Long hair, blonde, I think." He scowled when he caught sight of Dylan's grin. "You're fucking with me." Dylan unfolded the slip of paper crumpled in his hand and squinted at the writing. Was her name Cindy? He held up the paper, and Feeney gave him the middle finger salute in answer. "What? I was only asking." "Asshole." Dylan's bark of laughter shot across the room, startling the lump on his couch into bolting over and off the small space. Kevin Carver landed on the floor with a solid thump and belated curse. The backup goaltender was generally more graceful than that, but then he normally wasn't suffering from a probable hangover either. "Blame Cowboy," Feeney grumbled. He shuffled over to plop down on the freed-up couch. "I swear the bastard throws these parties just so he can laugh at us in the morning." Carver managed to shove himself up to brace his back on the couch, head hanging. He mumbled something, but it was too faint for Dylan to hear. Whatever. He had nothing to do with how much either of them drank last night. That was their own dumb doing. He grabbed 2 mugs from his cupboard and poured the coffee before his teammates asked for it. He was pretty sure all of the bunnies were out of the house, so he tossed his battered cowboy hat on the counter and ran a hand through his hair, dropping a part of his cultivated image in the process. He snatched up the ibuprofen bottle and brought it with him as he carried the mugs to his teammates. "Here." He tossed the medicine at Carver, who caught it with his gloved hand, probably more on reflex than current awareness. The pills rattled in the bottle,